What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Dylan Talks Tone. Welcome to the Sunday night. Just hang out real quick. We're going to look at some new gear that has come out over the last couple of weeks. I missed my last week gear news thing. So for all the jokers in the comments that are like, this is old, it was out a couple of weeks ago, I missed a couple of weeks. That happened last week. Some ding-dongs had no idea. But anyway, so we have some stuff that I want to talk about. Obviously, you saw the new Gibson that we'll get to in the thumbnail, but there's some other really cool stuff that has come out over the last couple of weeks that I want to talk about, that I want to share with you and get your thoughts on as well. So get in the comments and say hello. These are ad-free live streams, and if you want to support the live streams, you can use a super chat to ask a question. Or you can go to the links in the description and support the channel doing that. We're going to have a link to basically everything we talk about tonight. And if you use those links, even if you don't buy the thing in the link, you buy something else, strings or something, that'll also support the channel as well. So before we get into what's going on, let me show you a couple of cool new things that I've got going on. Because I'm really, really proud of this stuff. So let me show you a couple things here. So we've got the Dylan Talks Tone pickup vault. We have released a couple of things. Let's talk about a non-guitar, guitar-related thing. These are bottle openers. I just came out with these this week. The Just One More bottle opener because, it's kind of a play on words with the guitar versus the adult beverage there. So you can get one in a Les Paul, you can get one in a Telly, you can get one in a Strat. And I think we're going to add a precision bass here to this pretty quick too. So that's pretty cool. Those are available now on the website. We also have the tortoiseshell Strat, Telly style pickups. One of the things I did on these custom acrylic things is we made the neck and the bridge separate. We were doing them as full sets. And so some folks wanted just a bridge pickup because maybe they had a humbucker or something or a P90 or whatever. So we went ahead and separated those things. We've got the mother of pearl one down here. And so we separated that stuff. Just FYI, so you know that. And then the other thing, check this out. So I got a new laser this week. And this is bonkers cool. This is a flat 6 set. The bridge isn't in the picture because it's just a regular bridge pickup. But as you can see, the bridge or the neck pickup and all the hardware matches. And we have laser etched a set of that stuff. It comes with a neck pickup, a bridge pickup, a fully wired control plate with all the stuff matching. Super neato, man. And then we've also got a matching set of Enduro humbucker size single coil, as well as a Telly pickup that match, that will go into the guitar together as well. So that's pretty cool. So that is some stuff that we've got going here on Dylan Talks Tone that I want to share. Because, we'll share that stuff. Why won't this work? There we go. Okay. The first thing I want to talk about this week, I don't have a link for because it's so new and I think it's kind of limited. So I don't really have anything to share with you about it. But Gibson is coming out with a 130th anniversary Orville Gibson J45. Now, basically, this is a fancy J45. It's got crazy inlays. It's got mother of pearl like everywhere. You know what I mean? The rosette, the binding, everything. There's only going to be 30 of them, and they're going to be $12,000 a piece. I would imagine that by the time we're talking about this, they're probably sold out or close to it because you know how this stuff goes. Anybody who can't afford it says it won't sell, and everybody who can't afford it buys it. So it's kind of how that works typically. So those things are happening right now. That is done probably by the time we see this video by you and I, when you and I talk about it. Let's see, go through the comments here and see if there's any questions on any of this stuff so far. I was just thinking about how to wire up my old Epiphone Les Paul with coil splitting Strat sounds. Oh, easy. You put a set of our center punch pickups in it. That's what I would do. It'll give you a good coil split, and it won't volume drop like other pickups do when you coil split them. And I think you'll dig that very much. Now you need to route out your guitar and install a magnet to hold the bottle opener into your guitar. Hey, that's a really good idea, actually. Or maybe we have a pick guard with like something routed out of it where it like clicks in there. That'd be kind of fun. That laser etch set would look good on a Paisley Telly. Yeah, I don't know about having too many patterns going on at the same time, but you do you. I was thinking about that, like how to incorporate that into a guitar. I think that would be really kind of fun. It's an awesome design. I'm really stoked on it. This new laser that we got a fiber laser, and so now really opens up the possibilities of what we can do, which is really, really fun. This weekend, on this weekend's drop that comes out this Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern time, you're going to see some P90 covers that you've never seen before. And I'm really excited about them. And I just etched a set of Enduro pickups that's kind of steampunk. So let me know what you think of that stuff when it comes out. I'll show that stuff on Patreon throughout the week. Usually that's the way we do that. If you're a Patreon member at patreon.com/DylanTalksTone, we will share that stuff over the week and kind of give you first dibs on it. Because some of this stuff is kind of limited. Like right now, I only have one set of that etched Telly stuff. So, this stuff is kind of limited. All right. So next thing on the list I want to talk about is very interesting. This is, there's a link to this in the description. Guild has come out with an entire line of what seems to be, to many folks, very, very affordable acoustic guitars. We've got one here for $300 that's mahogany, top, back, and sides, rosewood fretboard. We've got the spruce top mahogany back and sides. In fact, it's like a dread. And then let's see. Let's go ahead and look at these real quick. Obviously these are Asian guitars. There's no way these are American at this price, but these are very nice looking. And I would imagine that they are a very good option for a entry-level acoustic guitar. Laminate back and sides with a Sitka spruce top. So that's typical of a very inexpensive guitar like this, a $300 acoustic guitar. You're going to have a laminate back and sides. Don't let that scare you. There's been many very good laminate back and sides, inexpensive guitars over the years. I can't see this not being that. This is probably really, really super cool. They look really nice. I would imagine that the neck, does it say what the neck is? It looks like it's sapele or some sort of, mahogany. We're using the term loosely at $300 here. Okay. So it's probably some sort of mahogany-ish stuff. They'll call it mahogany, but it's probably mahogany-ish. 16:1 gear ratio on the tuners. That's a little on the low side. So that's where you're going to see, some cost cutting there. Usually a good tuner is 19:1 or 18:1. But that's okay. Totally fine. They'll work totally fine. Lots of older style guitars have that kind of ratio on them. And let's see, X bracing at $300. Don't worry about the bracing. Just play the guitar. This looks like a really nice. Now, what I can care about is mahogany neck with C profile and a 16-inch radius. So this is going to give you really just a kind of all-arounder. You know what I mean? And I dig it. I dig it a lot. 3-ring rosette. It's got an old school kind of pick guard to it. It's got a really nice sort of elegant bridge plate to it, which is really nice. For $300, I think this is going to be a cool guitar. And I would pull the trigger on this if this is something that I was into. 25.5-inch scale, 1/6/8/7/5 nut width. So that is, somebody jump in the comments and give me the fraction for 1.6875. And we'll compare that to kind of a Martin, which is what I am kind of familiar with. So yeah, really cool. There's links to all these in the description. There's the dreadnoughts. There's the full mahogany one. There's the spruce top one. And then we've got this OM sort of looking one over here too. So $300, I think that's super duper duper cool. I'm down with that. Let's see. Mahogany variant. Yeah. I have Dylan HSS pickups. Is there anything cool you do with them for my new rear route Strat? Absolutely. Yeah, we could do something really cool. We could make a I'll tell you what we could do. Hang on. I'll show you right now. We could do something like this, and we could pick a pattern and do something fun. Yeah. You know, so we've got the matching. So what I did was I cut the material for the humbucker cover out of the actual material, so it all matches, like all the pattern kind of lines up, which is really cool. And then we could pick, you know, I mean, tell me what color you want and tell me what you want it to kind of look like. And, you know, there's hundreds of materials out there. And at this point, I'm just kind of building some of that stuff up. And then we're kind of cutting, you know, we're just kind of trying to accumulate some cool materials. So if you say, hey, I want something in red, I want something iridescent, I want something, you know, whatever, doesn't matter. I think it's something that we could probably come up with something cool for an HSS, and I think that would be pretty awesome. You said that you are going for a rear control, which means you wouldn't have a full pick guard. Now that I'm thinking this through. However, we could still do some cool stuff with pickup covers and stuff like that. So let me know what you want to do there. Okay, this next thing I am very excited about. I have not looked at this at all. All I know is that is $549, and I think I'm going to go ahead and order one. This is the Neural DSP Nano Cortex. So what we're doing here, basically, is we are competing with the Tonex stuff. We're competing with the Kemper Player. I think everybody's sort of realizing that, you know, I don't need a million features. I only need 100, right? Or whatever. And I don't need it to be humongous, but I'd like it to fit on a pedal board. And I think it's very interesting too, because a lot of folks are using their modelers with pedals that they already own. So this is a really cool idea. I don't know anything about it because it just, you know, it's just came out. Let's see, it's got 2 gigahertz DSP from its Shark architecture. So this must be a version, kind of probably a small, it's still Shark. So that's cool, that's kind of the big fancy processor for a lot of the fancier effects pedals. It's the same thing would be in like a Strymon or something. Not the same thing, but that technology. Let's see, wirelessly connect to the Bluetooth to the Cortex Cloud app. Okay, so what I'm assuming here, just kind of looking this over, is that you're going to probably use this the same way we were discussing, like with the positive grid stuff. This is going to be way better. This is going to be on Kemper level, okay? This is going to be way more quality than a Tonex or a positive grid. This is going to be on a whole nother level, okay? We're talking Kemper-ish. We're talking Axe Effects, like in that zone, okay? However, the simplicity of this is going to make it to where you're going to really probably only use this for a few sounds because as you can see, the user interface is a lot simpler. And you'll still be able to set up your blocks, it looks like, and all that kind of stuff. But you're going to have to do it a lot on the computer and then use the hard controls for final tweaking and an amp setup, which is pretty cool. So our I/O, which is what I care about, we've got input. Okay, so we've got stereo out, which is cool with the 1/4 inch. We've got a ground lift, which is cool. Expression and a MIDI out, headphone out, USB out, and power. And here's one thing I was wondering. Let's see. So you can capture with this. That is bonkers cool. You can capture with this at $549. So for those of you that are not aware, like the Tonex, for example, you cannot capture with it. You actually have to buy the separate box to capture. And I think by the time you buy the separate box, you're at this money anyway. I'm pretty sure I have one, but they gave it to me, you know, when we were doing the reviews and stuff, so I can't remember how much it cost. But I'm pretty sure that if you buy a Tonex and you buy the capture box, you're right in this money anyway. Pretty close. So I'm probably going to order one of these because I just want to try it. I want to see what it's like. I've never used any of this Quad Cortex stuff at all, the Neural DSP stuff. And so I'm kind of curious about this stuff as well. So that's something I'm going to try. Let's see. Let's go back here and see if we've got any. I didn't missed anything. Greetings from Australia, Chris. Well, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Can you do Strat pickup tops like the other pickups you have been doing, or like make them all like Telly bridge pickup? I can. We could tape them up and leave them open and etch the tops. Yes, we could do that. And I've actually been thinking about doing that. I just didn't know if anybody would be interested in it. So maybe I'll do a set and see what people think. And if it's something that they like and they're comfortable with having open Strat pickups, then we'll look at that. 1 and 11/16. Thank you, Jim, for telling me what that is on those guilds. That's right in there with the Martin stuff. So yeah, very cool. I'll send them to you. I'll be in touch. Okay, cool. I just got a Nano. I'm going to play around with it tomorrow. Very cool. Did you ever create the video for wax potting Telly pickups? Yeah, we did. We've done a few of those actually. Traveling for work. Yeah, I saw a post from you, Chris, on the internet today. Okay. This is also something that personally I find very exciting. I am a Jack White fan, and I am a weird guitar Jack White fan. I love the fact that he has weird guitars. I like that. And this is pretty cool. So this is a Fender, obviously, the triple caster, and you'll notice it's got a wide range. It's got like a P90 in the middle, and then it's got almost like one of the Seymour Duncan, those pickups I don't like, the ones with the single coil in the blade. $34.99 for this thing. I wonder where this junk is made. Oh, it's American. Okay. I guess for 30. Oh, wow. It's got a detuner too. No joke, man. Yeah. So this thing is really cool. Yeah. I'm not going to buy one because I don't want to spend the money, but I think it's very cool. This is something that I think is awesome, especially if you're a Jack White fan. And even if you're not, having the sounds, making sounds, using it for stuff, cool stuff, making noise. The JW90 single coil, it's pretty cool. Of course, it's got a Bigsby, but it's got a different kind of Bigsby arm. It's almost like reminds me of one of those Duesenbergs. It's got a chopped Telly bridge with the back of it chopped out for the Bigsby, which is really cool. Let's see. Soft V. Soft V can be cool though. I can get that. I can get down with that. 12-inch fretboard radius. That makes sense, especially with a Bigsby. That makes a lot of sense. The QNF wide range is pretty neat. 3-position toggle, a mute function, and a direct to jack. Ooh, that's cool, man. A stutter switch. All right. Which is basically more or less a kill switch, but like on a button. So that's pretty cool. Hip shot extender. Yep. And a B5C with a custom arm. So that makes sense. That's a Bigsby B5C. B5 is going to be an American one too. That's not going to be a Chinese one. And of course, it's black and white and looks very Jack Whitey. Yeah, pretty cool, man. I dig it. And then the other thing that they've got going is they've got an amp here, which appears to be sort of a dual reverb. So this is interesting because this is not a super reverb. It's stereo. It's got I think this is a 12 and a 10. I'm pretty sure. got a boost, which makes a lot of sense because he makes a lot of fuzzy noises and stuff like that. Yeah, a 10-inch. Oh, a 10-inch and a 15-inch. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is super cool. This is going to be an interesting thing too. And then there's also an Acoustasonic-ish deal here as well. Black and white, Jack Whitey stuff. Pretty cool. I'm down. I don't want to buy it. I don't need it enough to want it, but it's pretty neat. I like it a lot. But I am a Jack White fan, so there you go. Yeah, a 10 and a 15. I think the bridge is a bladed Filtertron. Interesting. The acrylic you use for pick guards, can you get some when you laser it, an alternative color shows up? We can. I don't like it. There are some colors that look really awesome, but it really comes down to the color that you choose. Now, I will say that we do have it. If you'll go back and watch the Telecaster that we're building right now, we've got kind of like a parts caster we're putting together that has a silver pickguard with black underneath. And I did that with that. Yeah, this Jack White stuff is really cool. It's going to be really, really neat. I don't really care about the Acoustasonic as much, but the other thing I think is pretty cool. Okay, let's move on to Gibson. Gibson has two very interesting things. We're going to talk about the Gibson Victory Strat looking, PRS looking thing in a minute. However, I want to talk first about the Gibson Les Paul Studio because people complain all the time about how expensive Les Pauls are. This is $15.99, and it is a proper, shiny, arch top Les Paul. Okay, it's got trapezoid inlays. Yes, it doesn't have binding. It's a studio. You got to cut the price off of there somewhere. It's got burst bucket pros. It's got a slim taper neck, which is really cool. That neck is very good. Unless you want like a really chunky neck, this is not the guitar for you, but this is really good. And yeah, it's, and this is sort of a rework. Okay. And, let's see, hang on one second. Just want to see real quick. These are A5s instead of A2s, which would make sense. So that they'll probably hit a little harder. And this is a weight relieved body, slim taper neck, which I love the slim. I love the Gibson slim taper neck. I don't have one. Both of my Les Pauls are both of my Gibsons are different necks than this, but I really do like those. Yeah, this is going to be cool. This is a great guitar, and this is a great guitar for this price. You're not going to get a full boat Les Paul for under $2,700 anymore. You're just not. It's just, this is 2014 or 2014. This is 2024. But this is a fantastic instrument. I cannot see why you wouldn't want one of these. And they come in really nice colors, and they've got this kind of reveal binding looking deal. I mean, that wine red right there, you could kind of mod this up, put some gold hardware on it, make it into like a Jerry Cantrell sort of deal, which is pretty cool. You know, these guitars are, and then of course you got the black one. For $15.99, I think this is fantastic. The only thing I would do is I would ditch the speed knobs and I would put regular knobs on it. I can't stand speed knobs. I think they look stupid. But you could get very close to some good traditional stuff here. One thing I want to look at really quick before I speak out of turn. Yeah, so this is still a nitrocellulose guitar. Graphtec nut. Yeah, this has all the good stuff that you, it has a soft shell gig bag. Makes sense. Yeah, man. For $15.99, I dig this a lot. This is cool. And and good colors, good traditional sort of colors. I'm glad that what they've done here is, okay, they've got the wild blue one, whatever they call that, blueberry burst, which is a really pretty color. But the other three colors are kind of traditional Les Paul colors. I'm glad they did this because it makes a person feel, maybe a person is not in a position to or doesn't need to buy a Les Paul standard. But they can still have that feel and they can still have that look. And one more thing I want to look at really quick. Sorry, and it's a bound neck too. Yeah, man, this is a great guitar. This is a great guitar, and I just saw out of the corner of my eye there that guitar was 8 pounds. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. People that complain about what Gibson are doing just need to shut up and buy one. Yes, they do come with a gig bag. Puts the whole heritage within people's reach. Absolutely. Alnico 2 or 3 for a traditional PAF style humbucker set for a jazz player, probably unpotted. No, I would still stick with a 5, and I would definitely, for a jazz player, I would definitely pot them. And I'd leave it in there a long time. Yep. But I personally, for a jazz player, I wouldn't use a DAF or a PAF traditional. So I honestly thought it would be closer to 2000. I did too. I thought this would be $19.99 all day long. When they announced it, I thought it would be $19.99, and $15.99 blew my mind. I think that's fantastic. That guitar is great. To me, that's the move of the year right now so far for Gibson, is that guitar, because people complain. Okay. So people complain that a Telly, a Strat, and a Les Paul are so far apart. Right. And now they're not. So you can get a shiny Les Paul with a bound neck with trapezoid inlays and Burstbucker Pros for the same price that you can get a good American Telecaster for. People have been complaining about the ability to not be able to do that for a very long time. And I think that's very cool. That's very, very cool. I dig that a lot. One of the things you got to think about here is that the Gibson Les Paul, okay, and the Strat and the Telly are not competitive instruments. They're not. They are they're on a different. They have a different goal. They have a different audience. They have a different target market, and the cost at the price point is a different target market. So a Les Paul standard, everybody thinks that a Les Paul standard and that an American Standard Telly, or whatever they call them these days, should be the same price because they're all the standard and they're all the like flagship normal models for both brands. But that's not the case. That's just not the case. Both brands market to different people. And honestly, the people with the Gibson people market to people with more money. And they always have since the very beginning. Since the 50s, a Les Paul has always been a more premium product than a Telecaster. It's been in the marketing ethos from Fender versus the marketing ethos of Gibson since the very beginning. And people don't like that. They can't accept it, but it's true. And that is really the thing. So the fact that now we can get a shiny one with binding and with a trapezoid inlay and good pickups for $15.99, stop complaining, just buy one. Okay, let's see. And it doesn't have anything to do with the gig bag. Well, it kind of does, but that's only one aspect of it. Binding is a big thing, especially the way Gibson does it. And a bunch of other stuff too, the electronics and everything else. Okay, let's talk about this last thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not looked at this at all. It says previously viewed on my website here, but that's because I clicked on it earlier to make the thumbnail. So this is a Les Paulicaster from Gibson, the Gibson Victory in iguana burst. That thing is sick, actually. So we got 2 humbuckers, we got 2 knobs, and we got a switch. And it looks funky. Now, obviously, this is not new. Well, I don't want to say it's not new. It's new for anybody that grew up with an iPad, but this was around before in a form or another. So it is... Now, this is something I've not looked at all. I didn't look at this on purpose. Mahogany body, and I'm sure that this is real mahogany stuff because this is definitely an American guitar. We have an Explorer-ish sort of peg head, but not totally. AAA figured maple top. Super cool. Oh, the figured maple top is what gives you the fantastic note separation. That's cool. Ebony fretboard. That's cool. I dig that a lot. Gibson 80s tribute humbuckers. That would make sense. So this thing is going to be edgy, right? Iconic coil splitting circuitry. Inner outer coil selection for extensive sonic sculpting. This is a wiring scheme that I think more people should use. Is set it up to where it's outer coils or inner coils on a double humbucker guitar. That's very cool. PRS does that too on a couple of things. 25.5-inch scale and a compound radius 10-16. Holy smokes, I didn't see that coming. Yeah, I did not see that coming, the 25.5-inch scale. So they really are trying to make a crossover sort of feeling guitar. Huh. That's pretty wild. And what I really like about this is, just kind of off the top of my head here, is that gives the, it's a 24 fret too, is that this gives this a completely different, you can't relate it to anything. The way the guitar's built, you can't say, well, it's kind of like this, it's kind of like that. I guess maybe a custom 24, I guess, sort of, but this is its own animal, and I'm glad they did this. So it's not just a Strat shaped Les Paul. It's not just a Les Paul shaped Strat. It's not, you know what I mean? This is its own animal, and I like how they've done enough little unique things here that make this thing really cool. And it's $24.99. So for the figured top, are they all that same price? Yeah. Which, and we have one here that's gold matte satin. So you can get the, like kind of a flat toppy version for $19.99, which that's cool too. I'm down with that. Simpler paint job, simpler, doesn't have a figured maple top on it. And you can get these dark walnut. That's really cool. And dark green satin. I didn't see this one. Hey, Chris Hendricks, did you see this? Dark green satin. Yeah, man. Cool. Pricing them appropriately in amongst their own little offerings there. That's pretty all right. Well, there you go. We got a lot of neat stuff, man. I think it's cool. I think we've got a lot of very interesting things to talk about in the comments, to talk about over the next week or so. My only complaint is just 2 knobs, but I love it otherwise. See, I'm the opposite. I like 2 knobs. We talked about this the other day. I'm not a 4-knob guy, so I dig it. I don't hate it, and I could see it growing on me. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people that will be like, oh, it's not a Gibson. Who cares? What's really cool is they're making it kind of its own thing. I dig the own thing. I like the fact that it's not trying to be something else. Gibson trying to attract new and younger players. I don't know about if it's newer and younger. The price point is still up there. It's $2,500. So I don't know if it's about newer. I really feel like it's more like a crossover sort of thing. Okay, so we've got pickups that are higher gain, leaning. We've got a much faster fretboard because we've got a conical, a compound radius fretboard. We've got 24 frets. It's flatter. It's 25.5-inch scale. I feel more like what they're trying to do is bring in your fancy Ibanez guys, your fancy Schecter guys, you know, anybody or gals, anybody from the Ernie Ball side of things, that sort of stuff. The super Strat players, that kind of audience. So I don't necessarily think it's a younger. It's not supposed to. We're not talking about kids here because this is $2,500. Now, if they do an Epiphone version for $899, then I'd see you there. But I think for $2,500, you're still trying to, rein in the guys that want to play more. It's about modern feeling versus vintage feeling, I believe, more than it is about age or budget, if that makes sense. It's a more modern take on the Gibson brand, and I really dig that a lot. So there you go. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. Links to everything in the description that I could find. If you use those links, they do help out the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. Even if you just go down there and shop around, even if you don't buy one of these guitars, if you buy strings or whatever else after you looked at that link, it still helps us out. So we appreciate you very much, and thanks for hanging out. And we will see you tomorrow. I got a video coming out tomorrow. We'll see you then.